And I think actually last week in Hong Kong, there was a very significant step taken, and probably, I'm not sure many people even saw it, but the Hong Kong Monetary Authority issued 4 banking licenses, digital banking licenses in Hong Kong. They were issued to Ant Financial, which is Alibaba, Tencent Technologies, Infinium, which is actually the Hong Kong Exchange and Clearing Corporation, and the 4th one is related to Baidu. They are now offshore China. Their intent is to create a third currency in the renminbi chain that'll split the difference between CNY and CNH. And maybe one of the more interesting parts of it is they're actually going to back it by gold, which becomes pretty significant in time. Will all 4 of the entities do it? No, I think 1 or 2 will specifically. There's conversations around it. It'll take up the slack between CNY, CNH, and also it would free up the dependence on dollar settlement processes. I think it's going to be pretty significant in time.
One last question from Roki.
Thanks, Paul. This question's for Henry. We've had an elevated U.S. aluminum premium since the tariffs have gone into effect, and probably elevated even before then, relative to the rest of the world. I haven't looked at Twitter this morning yet, but within the next couple hours, we're going to have those Canadian tariffs taken off, and then probably Mexico shortly after that. How do you view that affecting the premiums in the U.S., and how do you see that affecting worldwide trade flows of scrap aluminum?
So the immediate impact on the premiums is probably going to be negative on the premium to a certain extent. We still think most of the 10% tariff will be within the US premium, for the reason that Canada and Mexico do not produce enough aluminium to supply the US. So Canada accounts for about 40 to 50% of the primary and secondary aluminium imports that come into the US at the moment. So you've still got to attract the other metal from other places in the world. For example, the Middle East is a big exporter to the US on aluminium. So right now we've got the premium about 19. We could see it if all the tariffs for Canada and Mexico fall to 0. We see them kind of moving more now to kind of 16 cents compared to 19 cents before. In terms of trade flows, we still see that really there's going to be a lot more incentive to use scrap in the US than primary aluminium. So really after the tariffs came into place, we saw the price of primary aluminium in the US skyrocket, really increased by 10%. But still there was no import duty on scrap. And so really what we've seen is, we've seen the US import more mill-grade scrap, and we've seen the US start to use their domestic scrap better than before, because of how much cheaper scrap is at the moment in the US compared to primary aluminium. We think the only way that this will really be reversed is if